हेलो यू ब्यूटीफुल पीपल, मेरा नाम है वंदिता वशिष्ठ एंड वेलकम बैक टू प्राइस बाबा। iQOO Z3 हो गया है लॉन्च, तो मैंने सोचा क्यों ना इसका कैमरा कंपैरिजन किया जाए वन प्लस नॉट के साथ। तो करने वाली हूँ मैं इनका कैमरा कंपेयर, डालेंगे इनके सारे कैमरा स्पेसिफिकेशंस पर एक नजर एंड विदाउट फर्दर एडू लेट्स स्टार्ट द वीडियो। First, let's look at the camera specifications of OnePlus Nord and iQOO Z3. Starting off with the standard shot, तो सुबह के टाइम मैंने दोनों फोन से सैंपल्स दिए हैं। iQOO Z3 के सैंपल्स आर सुपर विविड, कलर्स आर कैप्चर्ड रियली वेल. Details aren't as good as I'd hoped. Dynamic range is decent, but shadows seem too dark in places. My OnePlus Nord के samples are comparatively less vivid, more like the real scenario. Dynamic range is slightly better here, but details are much sharper. पेड़ों के पत्ते दूर बैकग्राउंड में भी क्लियर दिख रहे हैं. Moving on to the 2x, 5x and 10x zoom shot, तो just like the standard shot, the 2x shot is super vivid, pink and green निखर कर आ रहा है. There is an evident drop in the quality of the image as there is slight pixelation. तो ये मैं iQOO Z3 के shot की बात कर रही थी. OnePlus का 2x shot somehow looks more cheerful. There is more light in the frame, not as much color, but details are pretty crisp. 5x zoom shots दोनों ही phones are not something that you would want to use as there is visible pixelation in both samples. 10x zoom shot पर आए तो iQOO का 10x shot has slightly more zoom than the OnePlus sample. There is visible detail loss in both samples. Not your go-to mode, but हाँ अगर आपका सब्जेक्ट दूर है तो रजिस्टर करने के लिए you can opt to zoom in this much. Coming to the wide angle shot, तो OnePlus samples cover slightly more area, but iQOO Z3 का sample takes it away in every other aspect, be it the vivid colors or the details in general or the dynamic range. iQOO sample has it all. OnePlus samples are a visible step behind as they are not as vivid and have poor dynamic range in terms of shadows being too dark and highlights being too bright. iQOO Z3 में है 64 मेगापिक्सल का प्राइमरी सेंसर और OnePlus Nord में है 48 मेगापिक्सल का प्राइमरी सेंसर. So now let's compare the dedicated shots from both these phones. Moving on to the comparison between the dedicated 64 megapixel iQOO Z3 shot versus the dedicated 48 megapixel OnePlus sensor shot. तो details से start करते हैं. Details के aspect में मैं थोड़ा सा disappointed थी दोनों ही shots में. Dedicated shots are known for superb details which in both samples aren't as good as I had hoped. iQOO Z3 का sample has better contrast and hence colors. The OnePlus shot looks slightly washed out. Now next up are the close-up and macro shots. Close-up shots पर आए तो iQOO Z3 का sample has an edge over the OnePlus sample in multiple aspects. The iQOO sample has a lot more details. Edge detection is fairly similar दोनों phones में, but the subtle difference in the background blur is what wins it for iQOO. There is a sundar sa bokeh effect forming in the iQOO Z3 sample, which in the OnePlus sample looks aggressive and generic to me. But this is just my opinion. Do let me know what do you think. Super macro mode की बात करें तो both samples could have been better here. There is no clear winner. Edge detection and detailing के मामले में, however, iQOO Z3 का shot दोनों में से better है. OnePlus shot is very hazy. Colors के मामले में iQOO is more vivid and OnePlus has a natural tone. So guys, now it's time to look at the selfie and rear portrait shots from the iQOO Z3 and OnePlus Nord. Rear portrait shots की बात करें तो iQOO Z3 has very vivid sample, saturated than the normal scenario. वहीं OnePlus का color tone is very natural. iQOO Z3 में facial details better हैं and इस मामले में OnePlus looks slightly hazy on zooming. iQOO Z3 में एक और चीज़ मैं बताना चाहूँगी कि it embraces the harsh sunlight and doesn't shy away from it. ऑल्सो अच्छी एज डिटेक्शन भी आपको iQOO Z3 के रियर पोर्ट्रेट शॉट में देखने को मिलेगी. बैकग्राउंड ब्लर की बात करें तो यहाँ पर OnePlus का बैकग्राउंड ब्लर मुझे बेटर लगा. iQOO का ब्लर इज टू सटल इन कंपैरिजन. सेल्फी पोर्ट्रेट शॉट दोनों ही फोन के अच्छे थे. iQOO Z3 सैंपल फील्स बैलेंस्ड विद सटल बैकग्राउंड ब्लर एंड गुड एज डिटेक्शन. वहीं OnePlus सैंपल डिस्पाइट सम हार्श सनलाइट मैनेजेस टू कैप्चर द डिटेल्स वेल एंड हैज मॉडरेट ब्लर. Edge detection is crisp and both images have come out close to the actual scenario. No camera comparison can be complete without the selfie shots, so let's look at them. Selfies की बात करें तो both the selfie samples fared well in this कांटे की टक्कर. Both samples managed to capture details well despite the harsh sunlight on my face. Details captured are good in both samples in the foreground as well as the background. स्किन टोन डिटेक्शन और अगर फेशियल डिटेल्स की बात करें तो दोनों में ही काफी सिमिलर है और काफी अच्छी लगी, तो वेरी हार्ड टू पिक अ विनर हियर। OnePlus has a wide angle selfie option also जो iQOO Z3 में नहीं है. It captures a lot more area than a regular selfie. Details are well captured but dynamic range isn't as good because it doesn't quite manage the highlights and shadows as well. Both phones however do have a beauty mode option जहाँ पर my face became very blemish and mark free. Despite the harsh sunlight, details are captured well. There is no such detail loss, but overall OnePlus का sample has an edge here. Well, how can I complete my camera comparison without looking at the video quality? So let's look at it. Rear video samples पर आए तो highest common resolution offered in both the phones is 4K 30 FPS. यहाँ पर iQOO Z3 में आपको 4K 60 FPS resolution भी देखने को मिलेगा. 4K 30 FPS videos पर आए तो both video samples as you can see capture good details. It was early in the morning so there wasn't any challenging sunlight. Despite that, dynamic range is good in both samples. However, the OnePlus video feels like the better sample here with better stability and overall colors. iQOO Z3 में 4K 60 FPS resolution मिलेगा which is the highest जो OnePlus में नहीं है. 4K 60 FPS from iQOO Z3 की अगर बात करें तो well video has slightly better details from the 4K 30 FPS video from the iQOO Z3 and stability भी आपको यहाँ पर बेहतर देखने को मिलेगी. लेकिन अगर आप मुझसे पूछेंगे तो मैं OnePlus का 4K 30 FPS वीडियो प्रेफर करूंगी over this one. Do let me know what you think in the comment section below. सेल्फी वीडियोस की बात करें तो I'll first compare videos in common resolution. Highest quality iQOO Z3 जो प्रोवाइड करवाता है वो है 1080p 30 FPS which is a bit disappointing क्योंकि OnePlus में आपको देखने को मिलेगी 4K 60 FPS as the highest selfie video resolution. कलर्स और डायनामिक रेंज की बात करें तो इस मामले में both samples from the iQOO Z3 and OnePlus are fairly similar. I took two samples here. One was in early morning and जहाँ light was a bit diffused और एक harsh sunlight में where the sun was right on top of my head. Overall, OnePlus samples have a slight edge यहाँ पर भी, especially in terms of details and stability. OnePlus में आपको wide angle video का भी option मिलेगा in 1080p 30 FPS resolution. I mean not bad. यहाँ as you can see in both the samples a lot more area is covered. Overall details and colors are captured very well. OnePlus वैसे यहाँ पर जीतता है क्योंकि 4K 60 FPS is the highest resolution जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया and check out the difference. Well 1080p 30 FPS won't stand anywhere near. Details 4K 60 FPS में are very sharp. The video looks super vivid. Even in harsh sunlight there is no visible detail loss. Pretty good samples I must say and also for people who are looking to vlog I guess OnePlus Nord आपको काफी अच्छी selfie video quality दे रहा है.
Well, last but not the least, we're going to look at the low light selfies and the night shots.
Low light selfie samples को compare करें तो shots from both the phones obviously were underlit, but both shots have come out well as compared to some other phones के low light samples which I did in the recent past. यहाँ iQOO Z3 का shot seems slightly more balanced. The OnePlus sample is more grainy and इसके shadows seem much darker. iQOO में नाइट मोड का भी ऑप्शन है जो OnePlus में नहीं है. Although the axis of beauty mode सा finish with blemish free skin and the slightly pixelated shot is a put off and ये आंखों में जो चमक है it does it for me. Well, comparing the flash on selfies now, तो neither sample is perfect but the OnePlus shot has a slight edge here. Even though it slightly overexposes my face, it captures the details better than the iQOO Z3. iQOO Z3 sample captured my face tone better but lacked the required amount of focus. Moving on to the night mode shots, तो पहले standard shot पर नजर डाल लेते हैं. Looking from a distance, तो both shots look pretty similar. They both look fairly underlit with the street light being the only source of light here. लेकिन जब आप zoom करेंगे shots में तो आप realize करेंगे कि there is a considerable amount of difference in the details. तो एक random object जो आप frame में देख रहे हैं उसको हम ले लेते हैं. Say zoom into the blue Baleno on the left and the OnePlus shot is very clear, has good details and you can see the number plate of the car. Whereas you can barely register any details in the iQOO Z3 shot. नाइट मोड ऑन करने के बाद सैम्पल्स आर ब्राइटर और ये आप नोटिस कर पाएंगे दोनों ही सैम्पल्स में. However, in terms of overall quality, they are both below average shot. Zoom into any corner of the frame, nothing has very good details. लेकिन iQOO Z3 के शॉट जो है वो थोड़ा क्लोजर टू नेचुरल लगेगा आपको. वही OnePlus शॉट हैज अननेचुरल ग्रीनिश सा एक ह्यू which doesn't look appealing. वर्डिट की बात करें तो iQOO Z3 और OnePlus Nord में कांटे की टक्कर देखने को मिली. कहीं पर iQOO थोड़ा आगे था, कहीं पर OnePlus. स्टैंडर्ड शॉट्स दोनों ही फोन से काफी अच्छे हम क्लिक कर पाए। सेल्फीज काफी सिमिलर थी दोनों फोन्स की, लेकिन अगर आपको चटक शॉट ज्यादा पसंद है, विविड कलर्स ज्यादा पसंद है, तो iQOO Z3 इज द वन फॉर यू। वहीं OnePlus Nord से आपको क्लोजर टू द एक्चुअल सिनेरियो वाले शॉट्स देखने को मिलेंगे। वीडियो क्वालिटी की बात करें, क्योंकि आजकल बहुत लोग ब्लॉगिंग में इंटरेस्टेड हैं, तो OnePlus Nord वाज द क्लियर विनर in terms of video resolutions, both from the front and rear camera.
So people, this was the camera comparison between OnePlus Nord and iQOO Z3. आपको किसका कैमरा बेटर लगा? Do let me know in the comment section below. And in case you like this video, then do like it, share it, and subscribe to our channel. It's a very simple drill, and you know it. Till then, this is Vandita Vashit saying goodbye.